On this episode of Deleted WrestleZone, we're going to do a quick review of the Wednesday Night War, what happened between both shows, great surprises, great debuts, and everything else. So, sit back, relax, and welcome to Deleted WrestleZone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, this is J Rod here on Deleted WrestleZone. Hope everybody is staying safe and you're washing your hands here. Uh, this episode, we're gonna do the entire Wednesday Night War. What good matches they had, what debuts that they showed, and everything else. And also, I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts. What's been going on that relates to both AEW and WWE with everything else that's been going on in the world. So let's get started with the views and ratings that happened for both. Now, for this week, AEW won again for the 14th time in a row, but there have been a slight how to how to put this. Sorry about that. There's been a slight downside with the views. So the views were not exactly what many people might have thought. I'm going to tell you what they are. For AEW, they had about 685,000 views with a rate of 0.25. NXT 590,000 views with the rate of 0.15. No, 15. Now, you probably ask yourselves, how's that even possible that both shows went down? Well, let's take a pause right here for a moment. As you all know, this whole thing with the pandemic is not only affecting us, it affects the wrestling world too, because people have been watching the news. According to, I believe, what my destination PW's Ango with Tango said, that is true. Many people are been watching the news, trying to follow up what's been going on with the whole pandemic and all this other stuff. I mean, who could blame people? And of course, they're trying to keep up what's been happening with the real world. I know that both AEW and WWE have been trying to use this moment as trying to find a way to give the fans an escape from what's going on, and I commend them both for what they were doing. So that's pretty much what's been happening. Um, do I blame them for that? No. We got to remember, there's still fear in the world, but we cannot show fear of what's been happening. So let's review with, of course, today this week's winner, AW Dynamite. All right, on AW Dynamite, as you must know, they did not have their show down at Daly's place. As you must know, they have been Florida has issued the stay home orders where basically they want people to stay indoors, and of course the restriction of gatherings less than between 10 or less people. That's one of the things that's been going on. So they announced a few days ago that they're going to film uh, Dynamite at an undisclosed location, but they never. But I mentioned this before on the previous episode or one of the news updates, and it kind of made me think, it has to be the Nightmare Factory down in Norcross where QT Marshall trains and his students and all this other stuff. It had to be it because they don't have the same kind of resources the Performance Center has. And as you know, the Performance Center is being shut down for that. So that's one of my assumptions. So I put that as a note. But other than that, the commentators were mostly, we had Tony Schiavone, no JR, no Taz, no Excalibur, only Tony Schiavone. He did had Cody for a little bit, and then filling in for commentators. We have seen commentating before. with Ring of Honor, Colt Boom Boom Cabana. So he was doing that, and then the only ref of the night who's been doing, I have to say, she pulled up everything. Aubrey Edwards, she was refing the entire Dynamite. I commend her on doing that. As you all know, Tony Khan made it clear that he won't hold any grudges or anything with the wrestlers or any other staff if they're unable to come to do the show. You have to understand, Tony Khan is giving them the choice to work or not. But if they decide not to, he understands because they don't want to get infected or whatever the situation is going to be. And Dasha Gonzalez took over as ring of announcer instead of Justin Roberts. We know she's done um, ring announcer um, with WWE before and NXT when she was known as Dasha Fuentes. So that's all the note that happened for that night. Now let's start with the first match. This one, I have to say, is one of the most amazing matches. It's Kenny Omega versus Trent. Um, I have to say this match kind of put over Trent a little bit because we never seen Trent much as a singles competitor. But I think what I feel they should do is give more Trent some single competition time because it would be good because we can look at the Lucha Brothers. They have done single competition before when they're not together, but we've seen it with Phoenix and Pentagon on various occasions. And I mean, who knows? Hopefully, down the line, we can see Trent be as a singles competitor. But we just gotta wait and see how far this is gonna go. I know many of you would love to see that, but Kenny, great guy, great performance. As you all know, Kenny likes to make the matches meaningful, and I say this one was one of those matches that he did with Trent that were meaningful, and I loved it. As you all know, I'm a Kenny Omega fan, so I loved it. So I give this one a thumbs up. What's next? So we see. Oh yeah. Of course, we did see the whole thing with Matt Hardy. How when he first debuted, then he had his conversation with Jericho. That whole thing is far from over. So they will continue with that more. So um, then we have Hikaru Shida facing against Anna Jay. Now Anna Jay, if you guys don't know who she is, she's currently training under QT Marshall. She's one of the trainees down there who's learning to be a wrestler. She did a fantastic job. I have to say I give her props. Hopefully down the line AEW can pick her up. But Hikaru Shida continues to impress me more. I've always felt Hikaru Shida should have been the first AEW champion, but if you must know, she never did uh, a lot of the. She only did before we went to Dynamite. She did only Double or Nothing and All Out, but no Fighter Fest. No reason is because she not only she wrestles down in Japan, she's involved in this show called Makai or something like that. I don't know. It's a pretty good show. I love it. So, but I can't wait to see her. Hopefully, if you must know, she's number one in the ranks. She could be next in line for the AW Women's Championship. But at the same time, when she beat Anna Jay, she got involved with Britt Baker. She's eating right there, telling her that she felt that her match was boring. So I don't know if they're gonna put a feud between those two. We just gotta wait and see where they're gonna go with it. Then it's already been confirmed that we see Jake Hager versus John Moxley for the AEW World Title in 2 weeks. Now this is something that I think many of us has been expecting because we got to remember this. Jake Hager, when he was in WWE, he was never utilized that much. He was mostly a mid carder. That's something that people say that he should have been at the top. I mean, he has been world champion, but he hasn't obtained it ever since. And Vince wanted to keep him as a mid carder. And if you all recall, many fans were still saying, nope, he's not going to AEW. And guess what? He did. They need to remember he wasn't utilized that much well enough, and they were giving him some bad character wise, but I have to say, with him being starting out as a silent muscle, now talking, and we just gotta wait and see. But we need. I'm gonna explain something to you guys at the end of this episode that relates to both companies. What's been going on because of the whole stay home procedures that's been done. So let's continue on. Next match was the debut of Lance Archer in ring. So we have seen Lance Archer make appearances, but we never seen him wrestle. We have seen him made appearances in AEW Dynamite, maybe for 2 weeks, and then what was it? A week ago, or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know when. Um, they were trying. Uh, Roberts was trying to get him to pay attention, give him one shot. So it looks like we may have that because in the brackets, um, we may see Cody versus Lance Archer. We're not sure if they're going to continue with the story with the whole thing. But Lance Archer really did. This match was more like an introduction because it was against Marco Stunt. People will call that a squash match, which is true. But he did pretty good, trying to showcase who was. But hopefully down the line we can see him do a much bigger match, more like that could kind of get us into near the end of the time limit. But who knows? But I can't wait to see him more. So Lance Archer won, but at the same time, when he finished, he tossed Marco Stunt over and they catched him. So it kind of showed him how powerful he is. Then we see another video package, this time with Brody Lee, and people are calling this as a shots to Vince because if you all recall, Vince never gave him any good props or give him any, how do I say you got good ideas we can do, and looks like he's doing that. So this package he put out, he was having like a meeting with some of the members of the Dark Order. No Stu Grayson, no Evil Uno or Reynolds or Silvers. It was just three guys there. One guy, he asked him his he's supposed to call him Mr. Brody instead of just call him Exalted One. He has Mr. Lee and he's like Mr. Brody and he tells him leave, and then here comes another um, minion who was like yawning. He told him, "Did you yawn?" And he's like, "Don't ever yawn again." It's a sign of weakness. Now, do people think of that as a shots mm, to Vince? I don't know, but hopefully down the line we can see more what he can do in the ring. I'm excited for that too. Then we see the after that a match with the Natural Nightmares versus Dark Order, 8 and 9. Kind of weird, but it was good. It did showcase more of the Natural Nightmares, what they were gonna do. My assumption with these guys, they must have been students from that same school at the Nightmare Factory, and of course Brandy was there, and we see what's his name? They were all the Natural Nightmares won the match, but the best part happened is where Broly comes out not happy with what they done. So I don't know which is who was 8, who was 9. So they never put like they could have put numbers on their mask. So he comes out, he power bombs one of the minions, and he looks at the other like he will not tolerate failure. You know, that's one of the things about Brody Lee that he wants to show. I have to say, his interpretation in the ring, how he took out the minion, was great. But I'm not sure about the video package. Hopefully, they can improve that more because I can't tell if it was direct shots to Vince. Um, then we see Jericho in his house in the jacuzzi, drinking a little bit of bubbly. Here comes Vanguard One. I don't know what he was doing, but he was giving Vanguard One the opportunity to join, but he didn't. I thought it was funny, put with Vanguard One. Then we jump in with with a little video of the update with Nick. You see Matt Jackson kind of came over training with him, even though they can't get to a ring, so they brought the ring to an area of wherever they live at. And Nick is very anxious to get back, but it's still unclear when that will happen. As you all know, we're still dealing with the whole pandemic. Then the main event, we had the tag team match. Cody teaming with Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears. Now, there was a moment where Sean and Sammy were taking bets who can hold a person like this. It started out with 10 seconds, then 15, then um, Sean was going, no, 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 let's double it, and then later all out, all in, that type of thing. So it was really interesting how they were putting that whole thing up. But I like what Darby did when he climbed on the pole and jump on top of both um, Guevara and Spears. But sadly, the match didn't go Darby's way, so Sammy and Sean won. And then, of course, Darby Allin punched Cody because I know Cody he felt disappointed that he lost, but maybe for for Darby Allin, it was a sign of relief that that he doesn't have to tolerate with this, anymore. Being teaming with him, now he can focus on the real matter, which is the TNT Championship tournament, which he's in. So is Cody, Guevara, and Spears. So I'm excited for that. Um, but before I end this segment, they did announce that there is a possibility we may not get a Dynamite. Uh, if you all know, the facility where they filmed this week's Dynamite took place at Norcross, the Nightmare Factory, where originally is the place where QT Marshall trains. It appears that the governor of Georgia has initiated the stay home order, so we're not sure yet what's going to happen. They haven't made an official announcement just yet. We're just gotta wait and see if they don't come up with a Dynamite this week. Hopefully, this gives them time to, how to say, reflect, restart fresh, which is something we need. I know they can come up with better content, better stories for anything that's gonna happen down the line. Hopefully, once this blows over, we just gotta wait and see what's gonna happen. So, I think that's it for now for AEW. So let's move on with NXT. We're back with NXT. So, let's start out with the first match of the night was Velveteen Dream versus Bobby Fish. This match was more like, how to say, what the storyline was going with this, where we saw what Velveteen Dream was, what his plan was to get the attention of the current NXT champion Michael Cole. So he sent Bobby Fish to ensure he doesn't beat him to get his hands on the title. So much of the match was a bit more brutal than I never seen. Um, of course, much of Bobby Fish was throwing MMA stuff. We've seen him do that with Kyle O'Reilly, but it was great. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I loved it. We're not sure yet if we're gonna see a title change anytime soon because we did hear from last week that Adam Cole is the longest reigning champion officially. But Velveteen Dream won the match, but he did give a message to Cole that he's coming for his title. That open your eyes and all this other stuff. But I'm excited to see where they're gonna go with it. So, next match they had. Well, let's just say this is what happened last week. If you all recall, um, one half of the tag team champions, the Broserweights, Matt Riddle was in the match. I forgot who he was, but he was attacked by These two huge guys introduced by this guy named Malcolm Bevins. So later they introduced him with his new associates, as he called them, naming themselves. I hope I can pronounce their names right. Saurabh Gurjar and Rinku Singh. Um, I'm assuming these guys are Hindu. I mean, it sounds like Hindu, calling themselves all together as Bevan Enterprises. I'm not sure if this is more like copying Villain Enterprises, but we'll just wait and see. So their official goal is to spread the message that they are the baddest and biggest team within the tag team division. So they'll be gunning for the titles, but I don't know how the grizzled young veterans will feel about that because they will not tolerate anybody. They feel it should be them. But I'll explain more about what's been going on with the whole WWE as a whole because of this situation. Uh, then we see a guy who I thought I recognized, Samuel Shaw. Now he goes by Dexter Loomis, facing off against uh, a very SoCal independent star here, uh, Jake Atlas. This was his official debut. We were aware, for those who live in the SoCal area, that he was signed with WWE, that he was reported to the Performance Center. He did great. I mean, I'm proud that, a SoCal representative is there. So we're right behind you, Jake. But sadly, Dexter Loomis won. I like how he still continues to throw that psychotic killer type, where he doesn't have to say a word. He just stares at you, give you that look. He did that as Samuel Shaw in any other promotion. But yeah. Then we had the second chance gauntlet match. Now remember, these are six women who were supposed to be part of the number one contendership ladder match that's taking place soon. So we had the first match that started out was Shotzi Blackheart versus Xia Li. Now that match was brutal and to buy it because you got someone who's an expert martial artist facing off with like a crazy maniac like Shotzi Blackheart, and it was great. She threw in every match and she won this particular match. Then she has to start over again, and this time she had to face against um, no, no. It started out with Diana Pizarro. Forgot. My bad. Scratch it. It was with Diana Pizarro. If you recall, they had a history together before. Then she won that match, and then Xia Li was next. Brutal match. She beat her, and then the next person was Aaliyah. And who can recall that Aaliyah felt that she should have been given a free pass, but William Regal changed it. And of course, Shotzi Blackheart came on top again. That was, let's see, Pizarro, Aaliyah, Xia Li, and then Caden Carter. Good match. But the last one, I figured this was going to go this way because I kind of predicted it. The last person was Dakota Kai. And of course, thanks to the interference of Rachel Raquel Gonzalez, she was going to win this one. But I feel, in my opinion, Shotzi Blackheart deserves another opportunity because she went through all of the fights without stopping until she finally. I feel Shotzi Blackheart deserves more, becoming a a champion. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I feel she really impressed me. With her charisma, her attitude, her gimmick. That she's not willing to give up that easily. Then we see an interesting match: Kushida versus Joaquin Wild, and this was an interesting match. I don't know what Kushida was doing. He was acting all fine, like trying to be all nice to Joaquin Phoenix. He did some insane moves where he's trying to put his opponent in the armbar. That's always been like his signature move. He tried it twice, and Joaquin Phoenix didn't like that. How he's been acting. Like first you're okay, and then he beats him, and that's how it ended with the whole thing where Kushida won. But here's what happened afterwards. Joaquin Phoenix was giving a post-match interview over his loss. Out of nowhere, this mysterious car shows up, and these two men in luchador masks showed up and kidnapped them. Now, this is the strange part. These are the same men that kidnapped Raul Mendoza a couple weeks ago. And the real question is, what is going on here? Who are these men? Why did they took Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wild? Because we do know in the past those two did tag team. But what does this mean? What is going on? Who is behind these abductions? Are there going to be more abductions on this one? We don't know. We just gotta wait and see. Um, then we had the main event, the for the NXT North American Championship. This one is a triple threat match. We had Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic and Damian Priest. Now, Damian Priest feels that that title should be his to etch his name into history. That's what he wants. Dijakovic felt that this will give him a much better life, like feed his family and all this. And you all know Keith Lee, bask in the glory. Yeah, but it was a one hell of a match. I was like, damn. I wasn't sure who was going to win, but I was kind of hoping for Dijakovic. I was rooting for him. Don't ask me why. But I was okay with how it ended. But we'll get to that in just a minute. There was a moment where Dijakovic had Priest right where he wanted, but here comes Damian Priest with the nightstick again. But he did not use it. He just used it like holding still, got Dijakovic right in the knee. Somehow the ref let it slide, but it wasn't enough. And Keith Lee picked up the win thanks to Damian Priest's handiwork, and he took the advantage of that. So Keith Lee is still your champion. So we just gotta wait and see. So I'll be give me so let's talk about my final thoughts in just a minute. As you all know, recently, there has been talk from both companies that's been announced. WWE's made this official or so. Not sure if it's going to be 100%. After WrestleMania, they're taking a long break for a month. Do we think this is a good thing? Well, yes and no at the same time. One, the yes part, it gives them time to refresh, try to see if they can come up with better content once they come back. Because if you all recall, for months, many of their stories and all that, they all suck. I mean, who could forget about what happened with the whole thing with Rusev, Lana, and Lashley? I mean, what the fuck? Why is that? So it didn't make no sense. Hopefully, with this, everybody is refreshed. They come up with fresher content. Stop putting the same old thing over and over. We don't need that crap anymore. And AW has been doing that. They're not repeating everything they do. They keep moving forward what they're gonna do. And the no part, this could cause a much of the financial situation. We don't know how much money they've been losing because they had to cancel a lot, postpone or cancel many of their live events. So that's one of the things that we can talk about. Do we know if it's gonna be is this gonna be a problem? We don't know. We just got to wait and see what's gonna happen once they make their fiscal report, like quarterly. We're not sure yet. As for AW, I know they've been losing a lot of options to continue with Dynamite. Like I said, they're not allowed to do daily plays because of the order to stay home is in place, and now they did their shows at Norcross, Georgia, where QT Marshall trains his school, and is called being named as the Nightmare Family, the Nightmare Factory, and of course the governor of Georgia now. How to say? Do we think that these promotions should just take a break? I mean, to be honest with you, it could give them a chance to be refreshed. Whatever new ideas they have on the drum time, I feel like it could work for them because it could give them a much better perspective for both sides. Like what's the best story, what storylines they can go with, try new things they haven't done. I doubt WWE is going to do anything new because they have no interest, but you may never know. So, what do you guys think? So, tell me, do you guys like this? Both shows that happened. Do you guys think that this is a good or bad thing if both companies take time off for a month or try to continue? We don't know, but leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to all of you. So, I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Mwah. Have a nice day. Bang.